Hey everyone, and welcome to a special behind the scenes look at the production of Upload the Download. We'll be looking at each element of creating an Upload the Download video, starting with the title sequence. So let's get cracking on how it all works. So here's the title sequence. Now the title sequence for Upload the Download has been made in Adobe After Effects. Now there's a few things that build it up. Now the old title sequence did look very different. So this is the old title sequence here. So as you can see, the text is just 2D and I just layered it over itself a few times to give it a bit of a 3D effect. But the new one is actually proper 3D. We've actually got Element 3D in here, which actually creates proper 3D text, and that's by Video Copilot. So this first layer is just a fade layer for fading in and out at the start of the scene. So we have a second color correction here, so that just adds a bit of darkness to it. Main color correction. This is a very brown looking color. I did actually have this color in a lot of my previous videos. It was more of a brown rather than a purple. Here we've got the 3D grid, which just appears there. We have the HUD. These are some spinny things which randomly spin back and forth. I've set a wiggle on its opacity so that will flicker randomly. So next up, so that we turn the HUD off. And then we have a HUD texture, which I actually designed for another project, but as you can see, it kind of makes it look television-y, sort of. So that adds like a bit of a 3D line to it. Now there's a light, because there's actually a 3D texture, which I've placed on the ground. So if we turn that off, we can see that it really ruins it. The text goes dark, and so that light's there to kind of make everything visible. But as you can see, this is the texture I used for the actual ground. And I might be giving that away in a media pack at some stage. We have a camera shake here, which is attached to the camera, so that's what makes everything move around and shift. Then we have some particles, so we've got some 3D particles in the scene, and they're actually set to motion blur as well. Then of course we have our element text here, and we have another shadow that's actually left over from my old title sequence. I left that shadow in there just to keep some of its depth, because I liked that. And we have the optical flare, which definitely adds a lot of life into this scene. And darken. This is just a solid with a mask on it that's feathered down so that it only kind of makes all the edges disappear into the darkness. This is definitely a messy comp. Background is just by transparency on. You can see the edge of everything. So yeah, and these last few layers down the bottom, they're music layers. The music for the Upload the Download title sequence and sometimes the credits is actually made on GarageBand for the iPad. So if anyone was wondering where that music came from, I made it. Then it's time for the next part, writing up the script. I use my own free program, Scribble's Notepad, to write up everything that I'm going to say. This includes taking notes on facts and even hardware specifications if I'm doing a tech news video. I set my Canon 600D camera up with a 50mm lens because I find that the 50mm lens does a really good job at getting nice footage in my really dark room. For lighting, I have my desk lamp to add some nice warm colours, my ceiling light, and recently I've been using a fluorescent light on the floor with a whiteboard to bounce the light up at me so it's not so harsh. Video is recorded using my camera, of course, but the audio, however, is recorded using my M-Audio producer mic that sits just in front of me. I record all the audio to my computer via Audacity, which is an awesome free open source program. I make sure that each time I start recording, I clap so that I have a sync point for my video and audio. Recording. Bam! Depending how many tech stories there are, this filming process can take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour plus. From there, I add a few compression effects to my audio to make sure that my voice is nice and crisp, and then all the footage is imported into Adobe Premiere. Then I sync up the video with the audio. Now is the fun part. No. Now I've got to go through and cut out all of my mistakes and possibly rage quit moments until I get my trimmed down episode. For the title bar down the bottom, or the B-roll footage I show, I have an After Effects template I've created that I can just slot my footage in and then drag it into Adobe Premiere. Also, when there's a cut between two stories, I usually add my own custom light transition element, which I created using my camera and a torch. Thinking about giving away a free media pack, I don't know when. Once it's all edited up, I add some color correction, some background music, normally an instrumental version of Josh Woodward's awesome collection of Creative Commons music, and then I'll add any fade-ins or outs, drag in the credits, watch it through, then render it out. My render settings are usually 720p MP4 at 25 frames per second, with a bitrate of 2 megabits per second. Then the video is uploaded and any annotations and download links are added to the video. So there we go, this has been a behind the scenes look at Upload to Download. If you have any questions that I haven't explained very well in this video, do ask below. As a subscriber, I really would like to help you out with any questions, so go ahead. Thanks to all of you that have subscribed, it's crazy. I had planned on making this video to celebrate 300 subscribers, and in the time that's taken me to get my act together, there's nearly 100 more of you, so thanks so much, really means a lot. Until next time though, I'll see you later.